All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on your favorite political talk show, The Truth with Ben Jokes. Now, it is clear that Tinubu and the rest of APC have completely abandoned governance. Not that they were ever ready to govern, but they have now publicly removed any doubt that may have existed in the past concerning their only agenda for Nigeria, which is to kill, to steal, and to destroy. For the past 30 days, Tinubu and APC have not said anything aside 2027. I am sure that when Tinubu traveled to the Vatican, he even told the Pope about his 2027 ambition. And why does he want it so badly? No other reason than to run the country and its people to the ground. And sadly, he has the resources to do so. The institutions have all been captured and the people are timid, too timid to revolt. Where timidity is conquered, religion and ethnicity take precedence. But with the increasing hunger and poverty and with the ongoing coalition of opposition moves, do we have a lifeline in this country? Can we still redeem this country? Time shall tell. And few hours ago, ex-president Goodluck Jonathan subtly attacked Akpabio and the Nigerian Senate for failing Nigerians after Akpabio, in one of the most embarrassing videos this year, trampled on democracy openly while endorsing Tinubu at the APC summit. And concurrently, Atiku spokesperson Paul Ibe, in an interesting discussion, confirmed high-level talks between Peter Obi, Atiku, and El Rufai. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video. This video here is from Tinubu spokesperson Sunday Dari. He is trying to gaslight Nigerians to forget the atrocity of a Muslim ticket. See the video.
There's that meeting he had with the Society of Bishops where they told him to also attend their meetings here in Nigeria. Interesting collaboration along religious lines. I'm wondering how you react to that.
Well, I think the first, for me, the first masterstroke was the fact that the president, unprecedented, traveled to the Vatican. A Muslim president traveled to the Vatican with 4 or 5 bishops. That, for me, was just a masterstroke. No better statement to show that this country is united when it comes to development and even our politics, and that religion will not be a divider. The president has exemplified that by taking them along. But beyond that, that meeting, you know, and very interesting meeting, a very comfortable conversation. You could see the president in his elements in listening to them. And this is a president that is, like I said, unbiased against any religion.
You heard that. Now, no matter what you do or say, Mr. Sunday Dari, the fact remains that Tinubu ran the most religion-intolerant ticket in the history of Nigeria. The reason he traveled to the Vatican with 4 or 5 bishops was because he needed people around him who understood the Roman Catholic way of doing things. He couldn't have just gone there with novices. So he went there with people who had experience of how things should be done there. And you are calling that a master stroke, something that is as simple as ABC. At a time when our country was already polarized, Tinubu looked away from all the Christians in Nigeria and picked another Muslim as running mate. And you are telling me because he visited the Pope with 200 bishops, therefore we should forget that atrocity? Shut your mouth up, Sunday Dari, please. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that video from Atiku spokesperson Paul Ibe confirming that talks between Obi, Atiku, and El Rufai are ongoing. And next is that subtle attack on Godswill Akpabio and the Nigerian Senate by ex-president Goodluck Jonathan after Akpabio's disgraceful showing, openly trampling on democracy while endorsing Tinubu at the APC summit. Let's start with that interview of Atiku spokesperson Paul Ibe. See the video.
The story is that your principal is also leaving the PDP.
I don't know.
So is it being shaken down to
PDP? He has said it. My principal is in a position. He has said it. I wasn't leaving the PDP, and you have to, you have to respect what he has said. You don't. I don't need to come here to, to speak, about it is an issue that he has spoken on.
Has he adopted the ADC alongside himself and his friends?
Well, you and I know that there have been ongoing. I mean, it's there in the public domain. There have been ongoing discussion, between Atiku Abubakar and some opposition leaders, Peter Obi, Nasir Rufai, yes, it's out there in the open. Discussion is still ongoing. And at the end of that discussion, they will come out with a position and the direction that we're going to follow, based on the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians.
Can we see a repeat of the 2029 ticket design, Atiku Peter Obi? Is it possible? Is that in the offering?
That ticket was very viable, and a lot of people have alluded to the fact that they never lost that election.
What now happened?
Yeah, are you telling me are you a stranger to?
No, because it's either you win or you lose an election.
Well, you can lose an election and that election was rigged. What I'm saying, in effect, is that ticket was viable in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Mm-hmm. And it's still viable to today. But it is left to the individuals to be able to come to a determination as to how they proceed. And so let us not go ahead of.
But they are talking.
They are talking.
Peter Obi and Atiku are talking.
They are talking. And much more.
You heard that. Atiku spokesperson Paul Ibe speaking there on the discussions ongoing between Obi and Atiku. And of course, opinions are still very divided as to whether Peter Obi should take a VP slot under Atiku, because obviously that would be Atiku's position in any discussion. And I cannot sit here and tell any one of them what to do. They will eventually do what they want to do, what they feel is good. But I have made it clear that if Obi deputizes Atiku, I will still back him 100%. But deputizing Atiku is a very big risk for Obi. I prefer him as a presidential candidate of any party he chooses. And let's listen again so I don't get misquoted in the future. If Obi deputizes Atiku, I will still back him 100% because anywhere he goes politically, I go. But I want him to run as a presidential candidate on his own. Why? Because one, I believe 100% that he has already won this same election before, running with Obi Dati. So the problem is not the ticket. The problems are INEC and judiciary, and no ticket combination can fix that. The only solution to the problems are electoral reforms, transfer of results from the polling unit to the IREV, or a revolution to defend votes in all the states. Because even Atiku spokesperson said it that in 2019, when Obi and Atiku ran together, the election was rigged. It was rigged and nothing happened. And you know that Tinubu is also planning to rig. So the issue is, how do you tackle this rigging? That is what the opposition should even be considering first. So the issue is not really the ticket here. The issue is how to ensure that the people's vote counts. This is what I expect the opposition to be fixated on. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that subtle attack on Akpabio and the Nigerian Senate by ex-president Goodluck Jonathan began making the rounds. Let's start by taking that shameful display from Godswill Akpabio as he trampled on democracy openly while endorsing Tinubu for 2027. See the video.
Very right, it's right. Everything he said, we accept. But how can we ensure that that resolution has the force of law? The Constitution gives the power to us. So let me invite my brother, Right Honorable Speaker Tajuddin Abbas. Please step forward. Deputy Speaker, Deputy Senate President, and the major principal officers of the National Assembly. It's your voice that Nigerians are waiting for. If this president has done well, is it not all that will say so? If he has not done well, is it not all that will give him notice of impeachment? We are not giving him notice of impeachment. We are giving him notice that it was difficult for you in 2023. But in 2027, I see everything turning around. I see everything turning around. The number of states that are coming to join you. As I was leaving, one senator was dragging my dress today. He said, please take me there. I said, you can't come now. And he is a Labour senator. I said, wait outside. Is in my car outside there. In view of the fact that despite very difficult times, he has been able to set Nigeria on a path of growth, confirmed by the International Monetary Fund. In view of the fact that Nigerians are grassroots people, are very excited in view of the fact that even the members of the National Assembly and senators said they have never had it this good. The leadership of the House of Reps should join me. I want all the members of the National Assembly of the APC extraction to stand up wherever they are. I want the civil senators to stand up where they are. And you will re-echo what I'm going to say. Those who love you will also join. I want to move, and let it be moved, that not only will President Bola Ahmed Tinubu be a sole candidate for the presidency in 2027, but he will also be a sole candidate for the whole Nigerian population, because all other political parties have been torn into shreds. I went to my state and I saw the umbrella at the PDP. It has over 100 holes. And very soon you will hear. I'm not the one to break the news, but I know the national chairman has already broken the news that everything in the South-South has collapsed for you. And that is the same thing that is happening in the nation. Nigerians are saying that because you have done a difficult job well, that it is time for us to reward you by sending you back to the presidency for a second term in office. I move, therefore, as the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that Mr. President return, one, as a candidate of the APC unopposed, and secondly, as the next president for a second term.
You saw that. What a shame. The death of democracy in Nigeria. Akpabio said other political parties had been torn into shreds and that the entire South-South had collapsed into one party for Tinubu. And ex-president Goodluck Jonathan took a subtle attack on Akpabio and the rest of the Senate. He even cited how it was a viable National Assembly that opposed Obasanjo to form the NDDC, Niger Delta Development Commission, a parastatal that he, Akpabio, once headed and enriched himself. If they had behaved the way Akpabio behaved, they wouldn't have had an NDDC for him to come and head. Jonathan left this information in a very cryptic and subtle message that the entire country understood. Look at how the papers reported it. Jonathan applauds past lawmakers for challenging presidential power. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has praised past sessions of Nigeria's National Assembly for their independence and courage in standing up to presidential authority by overriding vetoes on key legislations. The former president, who received the Nigerian Content Lifetime Achievement Award at the event, recounted his experience as acting president in 2010 when he signed the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Bill into law. He described the bill, championed by Senator Lee Maiba of Rivers State and others, as a product of a dynamic legislature. The ex-president also cited the passage of the Niger Delta Development Commission Act in 2000 as a defining moment of legislative independence, recalling how the National Assembly overrode then-President Olusegun Obasanjo's refusal to assent to the bill. In 2000, the NDDC bill was also vetoed by the National Assembly. They overrode President Obasanjo's refusal. Typically, in other countries, it is the president who vetoes bills, he said. But in Nigeria, during the lawmaking process, it is the National Assembly that can exercise the veto. If the president does not assent to a bill within 30 days, the National Assembly can reconvene and with a two-thirds majority, calculated by head count, not voice note, enact the bill into law. That is how the NDDC Act came into being, thanks to a truly vibrant National Assembly. I would like to use this opportunity to commend Lee Maiba and his team. He also took a dig at Akpabio regarding the voice note that he went for instead of a head count during the state of emergency that was declared in Rivers State. Jonathan is saying all these things to show Akpabio how you are destroying the South-South because you want to remain as Senate president. If the National Assembly did not oppose Obasanjo then, the NDDC that you, Akpabio, headed wouldn't have existed. But today, you have become a watchdog for Tinubu. And look at how Nigerians reacted to Jonathan's subtle attack at Akpabio. And the Senate, this tweet here says, now the useless rubber stamp Akpabio seated there like a statue. That is it. And Abdullahi here says, now we have puppets serving as Nigerian lawmakers. APC's arrangement and imposition of villains to serve as principal officers in the National Assembly is crippling Nigerian democracy. If care is not taken, members of National Assembly will start cooking and sweeping Madam's house. You think they are not doing that already? And a simple man here says, Saraki held Buhari by the jugular. That is why 2015 to 2019 seemed fair until Lawan came in and everything went to shit. That was it. Bukola Saraki, to a great extent, tamed Buhari. That was why 2015 to 2019 was not as terrible as 2019 to 2023. But Osasa here had a totally different view. He had a word for Jonathan. He said, Jonathan, wake up from your slumber. The mistake has been done by you submitting power in 2015. We need you to way behind Obi and take back this country from APC. We need you to come out and correct this. You can do it. Please, that is it. That was what I was going to say to Jonathan. And Donald here also had a word for Jonathan. He said, will you wake up from your slumber and galvanize the country against APC one-party state? That is it. Jonathan must go beyond just talking. I hope he's already doing something at the background. Obi does not even have to consult him. He should even be the one to call Obi, because this country has given them so much. They cannot allow these people to just destroy this country like this. It is compulsory for you, Jonathan, to team up with the opposition to rescue this country. Anyway, make I leave am here. Make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here, so don't go away. Don't go.